Friday. Thank God it's Friday. See, I told you the bath would fix itself. This is why you always ignore problems. Oh, we got another save. Hiya. I think I heard something break in the kitchen. Is somebody in there? Let's go check it out. I don't have time for any of this. I'm already late for work, and if I don't finish my report today, I could lose my job. Screw the job. Honestly, I'd rather be burgled. Should I go in? Absolutely. Screw the job. There's nothing here. Or is there? I was sure that I heard something break in here, but nothing seems to be out of place. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was your mom. How many spatulas does she need? Uh-oh. It's both heartwarming and terrifying. Me and Rebecca used to write notes like this for each other. Elana, I love you. She used to leave them so that I would see them before I left for work. Is this some kind joke? Yes, is this some kind joke? This isn't funny. Only someone who knows enough about me and Rebecca could do something so personal. Even the handwriting looks like Rebecca's. I'm so late for work. Screw the job. She did not just trash that and throw it on the... Oh, now you've upset the ghost. Now you're getting haunted. Oh, you're coming back to another bloodbath. Yellow. Nothing. Nobody seems to be there. I guess I'll hang up. That's my home phone number. Is somebody really inside my house? Are they really calling me from my own home? Surely this has to be some kind of joke. Girl, answer it. Oh, we got another save. Hiya. I shouldn't answer it. They've broken into my home. I still really need to finish this report by the end of the day. But then maybe I should answer it. I have no idea who this person is or why they might be calling. Answer it. Who knows who it could be? You know by answering it. Who knows who it could be? Answer. Hiya. Yellow. Heavy breathing. Just do it back. Strained, raspy, and painful breathing from what sounds like a woman. It's absolutely horrifying. It sounds so painfully familiar, so reminiscent of Rebecca's breathing over the last couple of months of her life. Just as the cancer had begun to spread to her lungs. Who could be doing this? Why are they doing this? Nani? Why would a ghost have to manually pick up the phone? I have questions. Stay calm. Whoever is doing this is likely responsible for everything that's happened. This is just some terrible joke. I will just call the police, change the locks, and forget that any of this ever happened. Yes, all problems go away by ignoring them. That's how it works. Everything will be fine. Normal. Doo-doo-doo. Back to my normal home. Doo-doo-doo. My normal home. Normal. Ignore it and it goes away. Don't look at it. The figure standing in the kitchen. Despite everything, it felt like Rebecca. It isn't Rebecca. Maybe if I hide here long enough, it will leave of its own accord. Yeah, that's how it works. I'll stay here until it does. Rebecca has been hospital-ridden for a week now. She's on life support. She could no longer move or speak. She could barely breathe. We had to take her. She will never leave. The doctors say that she has only days left. She's going to die. Rebecca is in horrific pain. She frequently gestures to her life support. I know what she wants. Is this going to be another Silent Hill 2 situation? Oh! No! No! Why would you make me make this decision? You know what? It's a game. I want to see the worst ending possible. Do it. Do it. I pull Rebecca's life support. Rebecca flatlines less than a minute later. It's what she wanted, but it isn't what I wanted. If I were to refuse, she would only spend her remaining days in agony, waiting to die. But there was so much I wanted to say, so much I should have said to her. Her friends, her family, they never even got to say goodbye. I took that from them. I panicked. And now she's gone. You killed her. Oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness. Happy anniversary 1 year. Another trophy. Saturday. This took a very dark turn. Was she sleeping and by her bedside? Understandable. Ooh. We got lots of options. Alright, first, what's on the telly? Attack of the Giant Leeches. Ooh. This is one of Rebecca's old movies. She used to make fun of me for liking it. She said it was a really bad film. It is. Oh, let's watch it a bit. Attack of the Giant Leeches. Gotta make sure we sit through all of the credits. all of the credits. So many credits. I just want to see the giant leeches. Give me the giant leeches. Come on, Bernard. I want the leeches. Yes, leeches. Yeah, okay, I can't keep watching this. This is really boring. Photos. It's a photograph of me and Rebecca at a party just a few days after we'd met. I was a loner at university. I spent a lot of nights at the student bar alone, hoping that I wouldn't be. One night I wasn't. I met Rebecca. She very quickly introduced me to her circle of friends and invited me to a party later that week. We kissed for the first time that night. Right, what's on the table? Ring. It's the engagement ring that I used to propose a few weeks after we'd moved in together. It was a very cheap ring. We didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was so worried that she wouldn't like it. I don't think she did, though she would never have admitted it to me. Trinket. It's the crystal graduation bear I gave to Rebecca when she graduated. Where she had encouraged me to become more confident and outgoing, I'd pushed and tutored Rebecca to finish university. I was so proud of her that day, and so very grateful. Rose. A preserved rose. Rebecca gave this to me on the last Valentine's Day we ever spent together. She said it would last forever so that she could make up for all the Valentine's Days she was going to miss. Oh, that is terribly sad. It is wilting. Oh. Thanks, I wanted to feel bad today. Let's check out a diary. 2015. Entry 1. She said no. My dreams might as well just stay in my sleep. Who gives a shit? Clearly not me. I'll just stay in hospital and be miserable for the rest of my short effing life. Ah, she's not happy. Entry 2. So I tentatively asked Elena to read my stories. Well, not all of them. Just the ones I wanted to publish. I won't be able to publish them now. Oh well, she's the biggest critic I have anyway. She said she would. It makes me nervous. I don't know why. When we were studying, she used to read what I wrote, but that was for school. After I graduated and decided to write full-time, she wasn't interested. Started off not having time nor interest for it. Ended up shouting at me every time I mentioned it. Clearly, dying is the exception. I've always wondered what she'll say. I'll never find out. She said she was too busy. It was just 5 short stories. She could have read it in the evening she didn't spend with me. I know she hates seeing me like this, but she won't be seeing me at all soon enough. It would be nice if she could just think about me. This is rough. Entry 3. Wow, that was the first night out I've had in so long. The usual gang asked me to go out with them for the first time in a while, since I told them that I was on treatment, really. They were a bit sympathetic and annoying at first, but once the alcohol kicked in, things went back to normal. I haven't been drunk in so long either. It was great. I could forget about all of this shit and just laugh and dance and do whatever the hell I want. I got tired and a bit wheezy. The treatment really does kick you in the balls. But I had a good time. I refused to let it bring me down, not even for 1 second. Elena was worried. I know she was, but I appreciate her accepting my choice. She doesn't always do that anymore. Did she ever do that in the first place? She sounds a bit, I think they'll ask me to join them more often now. They were so scared of it before. I think they were terrified they would break me. But they can try all they like. Life isn't going to get rid of me that easy. Entry 4. Elena wants to move. Of course she does. She's been itching to get out of this place since we moved in. I had to reassure her yet again that this place is just a stepping stone. We'll be out of here when we can afford something better in our city. She wanted to live somewhere in the country because it was cheaper and we could get something better for our money. But life is a struggle. We should embrace the challenge. I told her that too. She doesn't like to hear it, but she listened. We love this city. It was always a part of our goals to live here way back when we were at university together. So, why not dive in head first? She knew I was right back then and she knows it's right not to go back on it now. I'm glad. I love our shitty little house. I don't care if it doesn't have the fancy equipment I need to recover. I'll recover fine without it. I don't want my home being turned into a hospital. That just sounds depressing. So, I don't even know how to write this. I don't even know how to think it. I've just been told I'm dying. They were really nice about it, but I'm dying. How does a person even process shit like that? I feel like it's not real, but I also feel winded. I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness, entry 5, you murdered me. My bad. Sorry. You literally asked me to. My bad. Check out the bills. Overdue rent. Rebecca was always too focused on her writing to consider employment, but we managed. Until I was demoted. Alright, we've checked everything but the notebook. Notes and nice things. It's one of Rebecca's old notebooks. She used to write her short stories in these. Settle in, children. It's story time. Yes. Wait, why is it page 5? Where's page 3 and 4? Gosh darn it. All right. Come with us. Page 5. Afraid. It was the only emotion Jane could put into words. The child never left. She stayed by Jane's side until the terrified woman left for work. Acting normal seemed quite the task for her. Jane returned home wishing that the child would be gone. Alas, she was sat quiet as ever at the kitchen table, turning her head to Jane as she entered the room. Jane spent the day trying to ask the child questions about her name, where she came from, who she was. The woman was met with silence each time. She gave up, continued as normal. If she ignored her, she might go away. But wherever Jane went, the child followed. Wherever Jane sat, the child sat against her. Ignorance wasn't an option. When nighttime fell, the child followed her closely throughout her routine, silent and expressionless. As Jane hesitantly climbed into bed, the child stood where she had done the night before and pointed, knitting her brow once again. Carefully, Jane offered the other side of the bed to her. The child did as she wanted and lay down next to the trembling woman. Jane pressed her back against the wall as the child stared at her from the pillow beside her own. They stared at each other for a while before the child sighed, that soft little sigh again, and closed her eyes. Jane didn't dare move her gaze for what felt like hours. Though the child didn't move, her eyes remained closed and she was softly breathing. Jane knew that the child didn't eat, nor did it use the bathroom. There was very little reason to believe the child needed to sleep. Paranoid, the woman remained obstinately awake. Jane opened her eyes quickly, breathing rapidly as she realized she had fallen asleep. The child's eyes were open, though her position had not moved. It scared Jane to wake to those dark eyes staring at her once again. The room was still dark. Jane desperately tried to regulate her breathing. As her eyes swept the room, she let out a small shriek. Jane scrambled to sit up in the bed, pressing her back hard against the wall. There was a second child stood at the foot of her bed, staring at her with the exact same dark eyes. This child appeared to be a boy. The hair was shorter, but just as dark and flat. It partially obscured his eyes. The child was also wearing a nightgown. They appeared to be a matching set, though they didn't acknowledge each other. Only her. Jane very briefly tore her eyes away from the second child to look at the first. She was sitting now too, but her gaze was fixed on Jane. "Come with us," they spoke in unison. The woman sucked in a breath and fought the urge to cry. She shook her head a little in response. Jane then felt the first child sit closer, her hair brushing against her arm. Jane looked down. The girl was staring right at her, leaning her head against her shoulder once again. "Come with us," she spoke, her voice soft. Somehow, it calmed her. She felt herself able to breathe again. "Where?" she asked the girl. The child simply sighed and looked ahead, resting on her shoulder. Jane moved her gaze to the boy. He was staring at her. "Where?" she asked again. In response, he moved to where the girl stood the night before. Jane blinked at him and looked down to the bed. "Do you want to get on the bed too?" she asked fearfully. He did so, leaning against the girl, looking ahead as she did. All Jane could do was focus on taking breaths, in and out. They sat like that until morning. Intriguing. All right. We've checked everything. Have we not? I don't really have an option to leave. Hello? We've been to the table. There we go. That was odd. Uh-oh, have a save. It's waiting for me. What does it want? It hasn't done anything to me yet. It feels like Rebecca. What if it's okay? Maybe I should approach it. But then maybe I should grab a knife from the kitchen first. Just to be safe. No, go in. Oh, we are absolutely accepting this offer? It wasn't Rebecca. RIP! But aside from some inconsistencies in both memory and personality, its actions were almost identical to hers. And that was real enough for me. Oh, that is a bad ending. Wait, is she now cohabitating with the ghost? Huh. I mean, you do you, girl. Things certainly could be worse. I love this. This is amazing. I moved to an affordable country home just like I wanted. It was a nice place, somewhere comfortable where I could hide Rebecca from the world. It barely spoke. and it never felt human to me. But I would go on to pretend that things were just as they were prior to Rebecca's death for almost 11 months. Delicious instant coffee. This woman has some incredible issues. My life didn't really change after Rebecca came back. I love that she's just going to work, leaving her poor little ghost just standing on the stairs waiting for her. I got another office job. At first, it was refreshing to be around co-workers that didn't resent me. Indeed. But my life was too secretive to ever make friends. Yes, introducing the ghost wife at parties is probably going to be a little awkward. It may have been the same old routine, but now I wasn't in it alone. Ghost wife! Tadaima! I often felt guilty, but never guilty enough to return to my grief. Uh-oh. You got the ghost cooties. Oh yeah, she did. Settle in. Story time. Abnormal. Perhaps this was. Jane realized people could probably see her. They were in the open field that was at the back of her house. They walked in a line, the children in front, herself following, holding out her raw hands. They led her through the field. She didn't know how long they had been walking for. Whenever she faltered or hesitated, without looking they knew. "Come with us," they would encourage her. So she continued. Until they came to the lake. She stopped in her tracks. "No, I'm not. I can't." They all stood in a line and turned to her. They faced her with blank expressions. They didn't speak as she expected them to. They waited. Jane's gaze darted between them and her burnt hands. The pain was making her restless. She shifted her weight from leg to leg, rocking from side to side. They waited. "I can't come with you," she spoke quickly. They walked towards her. Jane felt her heart quicken. The little boy took her hand, as did the girl. The other boy took hold of her dress. They looked at her. The touch of their icy hands felt good against her burning skin. The three of them blinked at her expectantly, though they didn't speak. She took one step forwards. They all stepped with her. She inhaled and took another step. Slowly, they made their way to the edge of the water. "In there," she spoke softly. Jane could feel herself shaking again. "Come with us," they responded, stepping ahead of her into the water. Jane trailed her fingers along the surface of the water just as the children disappeared from view. She smiled. She followed. It was shallow at first. She stepped down a little deeper. The water was soft and soothing on her burning skin. It was cool, but not uncomfortable. It felt nice. Jane found herself welcoming it. Atypical. Finding yourself following three identical-looking, expressionless children who showed up in the middle of the night into a lake was odd. By anyone's standards. Especially Jane's. She expected no one would believe her. Not that anyone would know. Jane had lived her life by the book, following all the rules. Such abnormality happening to the most normal person she knew. Herself. Jane trailed her fingers along the surface of the water just as the children disappeared from view. She smiled. I wonder if there are different pages you can collect throughout the other endings to complete the full story. I died 11 months later. Whatever it was, our relationship was symbiotic, imitating loved ones to feed off of willing hosts to survive. As it turns out, there's only so long a person can last in such a relationship. Yes, I've played this Fatal Frame game before. I don't know if it was worth it, but it was easy. That's what she said. Oh. A toxic relationship. Let grief overcome Elena. Nice. I did want one of the bad endings. This is but one of 6 ends to Elena's story. Excuse me, I was reading that. My bad, I took too long. Okay, well, I'm assuming. Yep. That's the end of one playthrough of Morph Girl. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed that. That was excellent. I'm really into these types of stories. Like, there's... how do you describe it? It's dark, it's depressing, the atmosphere is foreboding. I love those stories that are just incredibly simple. Like, the lady doesn't really talk at all. Like, you've got the text, obviously, but you get the story through the atmosphere. That sort of thing is really nice. I enjoyed it. I'll probably play through the other endings by myself, but I'll leave a link in the description if you want to pick this game up for yourself. Like, it's only a few dollars, so it's hardly expensive. But you can see the other endings for yourself, see if you can maybe pick up the rest of the story. That story was interesting. I'm going to check and see if you can get the entire story by like playing through all 6 endings. Anyway, that was Morph Girl. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and come back next week to see what we're playing then. I'll see you guys then. See ya.